Hello, I'm just using this example as a quick suggestion, no more, of how schools might use one of the new assessment without levels systems. This one's based on one of the winners of the DFE's Assessment Innovation Fund. It's based on Learning Ladders by Hiltonborough Junior School. I've set this mark sheet up to accept one of 4 possible grades for each assessment period, and I've just put assessments in for autumn, spring and summer. So if we look at this column here, this is the assessment for these pupils in Year 5 summer term. If I right click on the column header and click on View Aspect Details just there, you'll see the grade set behind this particular column has been set up to accept either, in this case, for example, an E6, which would indicate that this pupil had exceeded the end of Year 6 expectations, A6 for having achieved the end of Year 6 expectations, W6 for working within end of Year 6 expectations, and T6 working towards Year 6 expectations. I've added a notional value onto each of those, more because Assessment Manager works better if you use grade sets with underlying values behind them. If I close that down, we can see here that our imaginary teacher has filled out the various assessments for these pupils throughout Year 5. So for example, Jordan Acton there, first column here indicates what he achieved at the end of Year 4. So he achieved an A4, which means he's achieved the expectations that relate to the Year 4 curriculum. He then started Year 5 working towards the expectations of a typical Year 5 pupil. By the spring term, he was working within the expectations of a Year 5 pupil, and by the summer term, he'd achieved the expectations of a Year 5 pupil. So we put colours on here. The colours that we put on here, again, notional colours, they can be any colours you want, but I chose a pale blue for pupils who were working towards their expectations for the year, yellow for pupils who were working within, for example there, their expectations, A for pupils who'd achieved their expectations, and a nice royal purple colour for pupils who'd exceeded their expectations for the end of the year along there. You can see therefore that by the end of the year we'd expect most pupils to be either green or purple because they should have achieved their expectations or exceeded their expectations, and you can see there in the spring term maybe yellow or green because they should be working within or have perhaps already achieved their end of year expectations, and so on, and obviously working towards there. Perhaps the blue colour therefore is more useful at the start of the year. I did choose blue rather than red because of the psychological impact that red often has on people. If I understand the Hiltonborough Junior School system correctly, it is quite possible that a pupil having achieved the target for the end of the year, so if they've exceeded the target or the expectations of a Year 5 pupil, as far as I understand it, some schools might say these particular pupils maybe are working within a Year 6 target or expectation, in which case the colours reflect the fact that a W6 working within the expectations of a Year 6 pupil, that is still excellent, obviously, for a pupil who's only in Year 5. So I've tried on this one, again, my interpretation of Learning Ladders by Hiltonborough Junior School. My interpretation is that that would still be obviously exceptional progress. So the colour there reflects exceptional progress, even though the W6 working within a Year 6 grade. On a Year 6, with a Year 6 group of pupils, obviously W6 would be a yellow colour. But on this one, because this is a Year 5 group, W6, I've got coming up as a purple colour. Okay. The benefits of Assessment Manager are that we can analyse this data in various different ways. I've already put the summary columns on, that's these at the bottom, and that's given me the option there of working out an average point score. Now this average point score is based on some more or less random points that I've given the underlying grade set here. It's not based on anything, as I understand, the Hiltonborough Junior School system to have created. But nevertheless, if we look at this group of pupils, we could say that through the course of the year, at the start of the year, their average point score was 17.22. It increased to 18.15, and now it's at 18.85. We can also work out the average grade and the median grades there as well at the bottom. We can right-click on the column header and show the grade distribution of the W's, the E's, and so on. So we can see in this particular group, by the end of the year, 1.69%, that's one person, was working within Year 6 expectations. 3.39%, probably two pupils, had exceeded Year 5 expectations, and 77% had actually achieved Year 5 expectations. 15% were still working within it. And one pupil here was actually working within Year 4 expectations. Again, another interpretation of perhaps how you can use pupils working within different years. Change that to count of students. Really, all this kind of stuff is the stuff you can do really as part of Assessment Manager. And of course, you've also got access to the group filter with all these various different group filters. So you can do your pupil premiums, you can do your boys and girls, and you can do your EAL pupils, etc. Okay, that's just my example. Thank you.